Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The December meeting of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Lynchburg is now in session. I will go through the roll call, and if you would please signify you're here by just saying aye. Bill Lovern.
Aye.
Louise Mitchell.
Here.
Andy Mueller. Not yet. George Ann Sneed is not going to be here, right? Anna.
I'm not sure.
Anna is not in charge of that. Not correct. She's not going to be here.
Margette is, George Ann is not going to be here. Okay. Mark Stroh-Snyder is here and John Stone is here.
I am.
All right. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the November meeting. I think everybody's had their packet, and I hope everyone's had a chance to review. Does anyone have any corrections, amendments, or deletions that they would like to propose to the board?
Motion
If not,
to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Do we have a second?
Lovern, second.
Thank you, Bill. And I will go through all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Bill Lovern.
Aye.
Louise
Aye.
Mitchell. Mark Stroh-Snyder, aye. John Stone, aye. Minutes are approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is a CARES community funding update from Kent White. Kent, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair Stroh-Snyder. Great to see you all again. And I first off want to say I really appreciate you rescheduling your meeting to accommodate one of these requests. As you know, this whole situation has been very fluid. You have three agreements in front of you. All of them would be amended with your approval. Of course, your agreements are with Interfaith Outreach Association, Lynchburg Community Action Group, and Miriam's House. I'll highlight the three main changes on the agreement. The first is all the agreements would be amended to allow the nonprofits to submit eligible expenses through December 30th. Currently, that was going to end on December the 13th, but we've received some additional guidance that the CARES funding can be fully expended through December 30th, and we can reconcile in the new year. So we certainly want to give the subrecipients the opportunity to extend their assistance to the community.
So Kent, they just have
Yes,
to incur the expense by the 20th of December and be able to document that.
Yes, sir. The 30th of December.
Oh, by the 3rd. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. By the 30th.
No, that's great. And then thanks to the wonderful folks at Office of Economic Development, Tourism, and Museums, we've already set up our timeline and the agreement details that the nonprofits would submit those expenses by January 5th, and we would pay those out somewhere around January 11th prior to the audit date on January 15th. That's when we're expecting the final state audit of those funds. The second change, and the reason that you're actually convening, is to add in a new program. That program is with the Lynchburg Community Action Group to allow them to use a hotel voucher program. This program has been going on in the background since March. The city's long-term recovery group has been working on this for persons experiencing homelessness who are impacted by COVID. Either they have COVID themselves, a member of their household has COVID, or they're out at risk and need to be separated. We've received, it's in cooperation between LNCAG and Miriam's House through the Continuum of Care. Those agencies have provided vouchers to those individuals to stay in a hotel during their time of isolation or quarantine. Unfortunately, that funding has been depleted, and we are requesting that LNCAG be able to use a portion of their CARES funding to get them through the end of the year. We are concurrently meeting with stakeholders to see how to continue that program into the new year, but that could not be done through CARES funding, at least in its current form. And then the last amendment is to allow an increase to the agreement with interfaith outreach. They are at the point where they have almost expended all of their $150,000 grant. And you recall, this is for utility assistance, power and water. The extension would provide them with another $50,000 to carry them through the end of the year. To be completely honest with you, we're not sure that they will spend it all. And if so, that will fall back to fund balance and be reallocated through the CARES program. But we want to make sure that they don't have to come back to you in the interim in between in that 15-day period. There are some other house cleaning items. We've adjusted Miriam's house to reduce their funding, and we've already talked about the demand on their services. I'll just go ahead and give you the quick rundown. Right now, Interfaith Outreach is sitting at around 125 households. That is changing. They have another set of bills coming in very soon. And again, they're almost at their $150,000 threshold. LNCAG has 20 at around 45,000 at this point. And Miriam's house has the one household, but they do see an opportunity where they may have one or two before the end of the year. Happy to answer any questions. And again, really appreciate the authorities' consideration of this and your flexibility throughout the whole process.
Ken, the only question, was there additional CARES funding that became available, or are we just reallocating, reducing from Miriam's house and giving to Interfaith just as an accounting?
That's a great question. I will tell you, when we submitted this, the full intent was that we were going to just allow the additional funding to pass through. When Miriam's house updated their agreement, it did become more of an accounting exercise. So I think it's a net increase of about $10,000.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have any other questions? I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mark. Kent, I know that Donna tried to call me very late yesterday because we have, discovered that the city really needed to have an agreement with the EDA beyond these individual agreements with the nonprofits to provide this community CARES Act funding. So I know that they are trying to get that agreement written. They were really trying to get it so that we could have it for today because as you might imagine, I mean, we're just getting through all this and we've already begun preparing for the audit. So having that agreement in place, Kent, I didn't know if you had any update on that, but just wanted the EDA and especially with Ted on the phone to know that that is going to be coming down the pike, as it were, and that if the EDA's meeting in January will be sufficient to execute on that, or whether that's an item that we need to, perhaps put on the agenda and say, subject to review by the city's attorney and the EDA's attorney, that agreement might be coming through.
Yeah, I do not have any updated information on that, but I
Okay.
know that they're
All right.
definitely working on.
All right, well then I'll just leave it alone. I thought maybe you were involved in the discussion with Donna.
Margette, did Donna say why we needed to have an additional agreement? I mean, if we have them with the individual agencies?
No, you need it for the business recovery grant. You need it for all the money that's passed through the EDA. The city needed to have a blanket agreement with the EDA in order to do that. So that should have been where we started and
jumped on and then had the three individual.
Yeah, this 3 individual side of it, obviously the community CARES funding was something that, I mean, it was early on, but an afterthought. So it needed to be agreements with each one of the individual groups, but there should have been a document that was done, and we're all learning as we go along, but that, a document that was done between the EDA and the city.
Does anyone have
So
any
we'll
other
just wait
questions?
until Donna brings that, and like I said, I had a call from her late yesterday and I thought maybe she was, we've just gotten this week new regulations from the state on this CARES Act money. So
Ted,
So
is
we're-
that something that if that agreement comes within the next week or so, and you all have a chance to review, is that something we could send out via, take electronic vote so that it's in place prior to the January meeting?
Well, you really need to have a meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You really need to have a meeting if the authority has to act
Okay.
through its meeting. I'm afraid what we'd have to do is just call a special meeting.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? In lieu of that, if someone would make a motion to approve the three new amended proposals to,
Can we approve them en masse, or do we have to approve them individually?
I think
let's
I'd approve them individually.
individually.
I
So
would like to
someone-
make a recommendation that we approve the extension
Motion. Need a motion.
of the date of distribution to December 31st for the three programs.
You said separately.
Then also, we would need to have a motion to increase by 50,000 to interfaith outreach.
True.
It's a motion on the floor.
Okay. So there's a motion to change the date to December 30th and to increase by 50,000 the monies to interfaith outreach.
Good. I thought Ted said we had to do them separately.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's do them separately.
Okay.
Mark,
All right,
the first recommendation is that we increase the end date until December 31st, I believe, not the 30th, for the distribution of the funds to the three nonprofits. I'll
Okay.
make that recommendation.
Is there a second?
That's not a motion.
Second.
Mr. Chair,
John,
just to
thank you,
clarify,
John.
it does have to be the 30th.
30th, got it, thank you.
Okay, there's been a motion, there's been second. We'll go through the list. Bill, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Bill Lover,
Aye.
Louise Mitchell,
Aye. Aye.
Mark Strohsnyder's aye, John Stone.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. The next would be a motion to increase the funds to interfaith outreach by $50,000. Is there a motion on the floor?
This is Louise. I move that we increase the funds, total funds of $50,000 to interfaith outreach.
Thank you, Louise. Is there a
Mhm.
second?
Bill Lovern, second.
Bill second. And we'll go through the list. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Bill Lovern,
Aye.
Louise Mitchell,
Aye.
Mark Strohsnyder is an aye, and John Stone.
Aye.
Okay. And Ted, do we need to make a motion to reduce Miriam's house? Or is that an accounting?
I don't think so.
Mark, the third one is the Lynn Cag hotel voucher. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, Kent, is that correct?
Sir.
Okay. Bill, would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we allow Lynn Cag to utilize hotel vouchers as well as the other forms of distribution.
And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Louise. And we'll go through the list. Bill, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Bill Lovern,
Aye.
Louise Mitchell,
Aye.
Mark Strohsnyder is an aye, John Stone.
Aye.
Thank you all. All three motions
Yeah.
carry.
And the three motions authorize the chairman or vice chairman to execute the amendments to the performance agreements to accomplish what the vote was today.
Very good. Okay, The next item on the agenda is the Virginia Brownfields Assistance Fund Grant. Ms. Upshur?
Yeah, so you had in your packet a copy of the performance agreement. We applied and received a grant from the Virginia Brownfields Assistance, VBAF, in the amount of $50,000 for work on a city-owned property at 1800 Garnett Street. So this comes from VEDP, the performance agreement, and Ted has reviewed the performance agreement. So the recommendation is to authorize the chair to execute the performance agreement.
Does anyone have any questions on the agreement?
Not on the agreement. Which building is that exactly? Is that the tall skinny building?
Yes. The building with all the graffiti on it as you ride down the Concord Turnpike. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, would someone,
I
Like
will
to make
make
a-
a motion to authorize the chair to execute the performance agreement with Virginia Economic Development Partnership for a Virginia Brownfield Assistance Fund Grant.
thank you, Mr.
Lovern, second.
Sorensen, and
Lovern,
Bill
second.
Lovern, second. Okay. If you'll approve by signify by saying aye. Bill Lovern,
Aye.
Louise Mitchell,
Aye.
Mark Strohsnyder is an aye. John Stone
Aye.
is an aye. Motion is carried. Next item is the residents. Ms. Upshur?
Yeah, thanks. So I talked about this a little bit at the last EDA meeting, and every strategic plan that we've had for the Office of Economic Development and EDA has suggested a brand identity for the city as a whole. So we are going to attempt that one more time, especially in these trying times when we can seize the opportunity to come out of this pandemic really, really strong. So this money will come from the marketing and business development account, what Melissa calls, which Bill will be familiar with, the red check account, to engage the city in around a place branding initiative. And Ted and I talked yesterday, and he has a couple of things that he would like changed on the language part of it, which I can send back and have that completed. So the recommendation is to authorize the chair to execute the contract based on Ted's approval.
Yeah, there were just two things in the agreement. One was an indemnification provision, which I don't think they're going to require. And the other is a choice of law. I think that Resonance is actually a Canadian company. Is that correct, Marjette?
Yeah.
And I want Virginia law to apply to the interpretation of the contract. With those two changes, I'm okay with the agreement.
Marjette, how long is the agreement for? Is it annual?
It's just a one-time shot, Bill.
Okay.
You pay half, the city, the authority pays half upfront and half when the deliverables are completed.
So this is a citywide branding initiative. So presumably city leadership, city councils, all on board with what we're bringing to the table.
Good question.
Bottom line is that we have two brands for the Office of Economic Development and Tourism. We have the LYH plan for the tourism, and we have Opportunity Lynchburg. We need to really look at combining those. And my goal is that because we would be taking this on, and it has been it has been a recommendation over time that we will be able to, I've had conversations with Reed about it, that we would be able to bring all the different departments of the city together to adopt, you know, the LYH branding and all of the messaging and placemaking that goes, you know, along with that. The way we operate right now, every department has its own, you know, brand. And I may or may not be successful in getting them all to come on board, but it's really something that from so many levels to be effective and efficient and all that is, and I feel like that LYH, since that is what how we're identified from an airport perspective and all of that kind of thing, that we have a shot at, you know, bringing everybody on board to do that. And I don't know that necessarily city council would adopt, you know, what your, you know, necessarily what your branding would be, but they would certainly know it and approve it, John.
Margette, is the 47,950, is that the total, or is that each, is that paid up front and then paid at the end too? Is it-
No, I think Ted was saying that it's,
That's the total.
no, it's just once. It's not,
So you pay
it's-
half up front, like a deposit, and then half at.
That's right.
Conclusion, okay. Does anyone have any other questions from Margette concerning the marketing strategy?
Yes, the only other question was that I think I saw where you guys had gotten proposals from a couple of different consulting firms. And what was it that made Resonance stand out? What made them seem like a better fit?
I think,
Generally.
I mean, Anna can probably, since she's more of a,
I'll speak to that if you want me to, Margette.
sure.
We received a proposal from a local firm. We also received a proposal from Simple View, which is sort of the leading tourism, nationally, one of the leading tourism branding groups. Resonance is, I think we chose them because they, I think, uniquely position themselves to, in the combination and the intersections between economic development and tourism and placemaking. They've sort of set themselves up really internationally in that vein. Margette and I were first introduced to them when we went to the City Nation Place conference last year. They're one of the primary organizers of that. And, you know, there are tourism place branding, there's economic development branding, but Resonance really combines those areas of focus, I think, uniquely. So that's why we chose them.
Great, thanks.
How competitive was the local firm's bid?
It came in about the same rate. It was competitive. It wasn't drastically higher or lower. But again, that, you know, a local firm doesn't have that international and even, you know, national experience.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to pass this item on the agenda?
I will make the motion that we authorize the chair to execute a contract with Resonance Consultancy.
And is there a second?
Second, John Stone.
Thank you, John. All right. If you'll signify by saying aye if you're in favor. Bill Lovern,
Aye.
Louise Mitchell,
Aye.
Dr. Strohsnyder's an aye, and John Stone.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, if we can now move to Ms. Benson for a review of the annual report.
Great. I'm going to switch my screen sharing, so bear with me. Hope this all works. Here we go. Does everyone see the video file? Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. This is a first for me to play a video on a Zoom call. So I wanted to just share with you all, we produced our 2020 year in review and released that just before Thanksgiving. It's a print piece that you all will receive as well. And it's available on our website as a digital flip book. But we also produced a video just outlining, this year. We hope to keep doing this. I think a video is a great way to capture the work that we've done in the last year, and also instill, hopefully give you that sense of community pride that we all, in this beautiful place that we live in. So I want to play this for you. And I will go full screen, and here we go.
Greetings, friends and colleagues. 2020 has been a year of growth, unprecedented challenge, and incredible resilience. Through this unimaginable year, we stood with you in commitment to the health and well-being of our city. Lynchburg is a city that makes things with a robust manufacturing sector and a diverse makeup of industries. We are a city that learns together and produces top talent for the world. We are a city that heals, employing thousands in healthcare and related fields. And we are a city that welcomes visitors from all over the world, filling our hotels, restaurants, and attractions that showcase our unique sense of place. This year, companies continued to invest and found new ways to innovate. In fiscal year 2020, CloudFit Software announced the City of Lynchburg as their headquarters, renovating and revitalizing a historic icon in downtown Lynchburg, the Carter Glass Building. Bosch & Lomb and Flowers Bakery announced expansions investing a combined $60 million and creating 94 new jobs in our community. And we saw the opening of 2 new breweries in the middle of a pandemic. In March, when the pandemic hit, our anchor institutions and partners responded rapidly to support a range of industries, from Main Street to manufacturing, offering services around risk mitigation, health and safety, and small business development. The city's creative sector has continued to spread joy remotely, finding new ways to entertain and inspire, celebrating the resilience of the human experience. Local restaurants and shops implemented new ways to remain open, and Lynchburg citizens made it their responsibility to support them. In this unprecedented time, we reached out to ask, what does the future look like for the city of Lynchburg? How will we continue to serve our businesses, large and small? How will we position our city to welcome back visitors, conferences, and sporting events? More than 75 business leaders across sectors stepped up as part of a task force to reset our economic development strategy. You offered solutions to challenges and reiterated your priorities for our community. As we move into the future, the Office of Economic Development and Tourism commits to supporting existing businesses first, to drive investment and retain and create quality jobs. We will communicate with you and tell authentic stories that celebrate the fabric of our community. We will promote the city as a destination for business, students, and visitors. We will continue to support the recovery of small business. We will invest in arts and cultural initiatives that build community and bridge differences. We believe that when you build a place where people want to live, you have built a place where talent is drawn to work. If you build a place where people want to work, you will have built a place where business needs to be. And if you build a place where business needs to be, you will build a place where people have to visit. Please connect with us. Learn more about the work that we are doing with you. Sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media, or better yet, reach out for a conversation. Together, we are serving on the front lines to make Lynchburg the best small city in America.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
For once, we know it was well done.
Great job, guys.
I think newscasting is next for you, Margette.
Thank you so much.
I like Georgianne's little
Chance featured
spots in there
property.
too.
Absolutely. So we welcome your feedback on this. And I may reach out to a couple of you to do a little focus group on, you know, how we might be able to improve on these in the future, both the print piece and the video. So thanks for your support. I mean, this is the work that we've all done together this year. So that's all I have for that.
Thank you, Anna. Does anybody have any other comments for the video? Margette, the staff report?
Okay, we have a lot of things. The first is you'll see on the staff report, and hopefully you all as ambassadors of the EDA, and you've certainly, especially Bill Lovren, has done the work. So the CARES Act, that is wrapping up. We're in the final stages of that I think actually one of the last things goes out today, right, Anna?
That's right.
Yeah. So you can see how much money, 314 businesses, $3.1 million has gone out the door. 35 additional is probably what's going to go out of the door. I don't know if it's either today, and there might be some wrap up that's done, but this has been a significant effort on the part of everybody. I mean, the members of the EDA have stepped up to help us make sure that we could do all of this. It's all had to be done on an expedited timeline. All of the staff, tourism and economic development, has all participated by reaching out to the business community. And I'll just say that, you know, sometimes we certainly interface with as many folks as we possibly can. And in the past, we've had, you know, a very small staff to be able to do that. But one of the things that's really re-energized me is we've reached out to literally hundreds of businesses here in the city. And so our efforts moving forward and the feedback that we've received from all of them are what is going to, you know, move our efforts forward. So one of the reasons I was so committed to the brand identity and the placemaking side of it is just that when we hear back from some of our larger employers, they're telling us that this is critical in order to attract and retain talent in the city. And also, you know, it's why they want to live here. They want us to keep our eye on the ball on some of that. Plus, it'll be the same things that we use to attract business here. But I think we definitely, with the pandemic, understand that our own citizens, you know, are really who we want to make sure know all the work that is being done. Not only our work, but the work that the business community is doing and the work that our nonprofits are doing. So on top of that, we have a heater program, which was announced. So in order to help the restaurants be able to stay open longer when it's cold outside, Anna and Emmeline and the team, Alicia, they've all worked incredible. Melissa has done an absolutely astounding job of keeping all of this running. So my hat's off to all of them. But we had a heater program that as soon as we put it out, which I believe it went out the first full week of December, and we had applications for every heater we'd been able to get our hands on within 48 to 72 hours. So we've gone one step further, and we really appreciate the support of the long-term recovery group, Kent and Donna and that group, because we're also we reopened it today, and we're going to do reimbursements for restaurants that have taken additional measures, whether it's additional heaters, whether it's tents over their outdoor space, anything they could do to meet the governor's guidelines while still, you know, being able to operate. So that's all going out today as well. So as members of the EDA, you know, have understanding that and being able to, you know, to talk to people who may be your customers, you know, friends, family that may be able to take advantage of some of that. We just want to make sure you all know that. I also have been meaning to say, you know, on any outstanding performance agreements or EDA relationships that we follow up on annually. So I'd followed up with City Market Lofts. We're supposed to get their financial information, you know, once a year after they refinanced last year. That was a big part of it. So we're about ready to get it again, but they didn't receive their finalized accounting until August of this year. So I provided you all with a link, and it's also in your Dropbox in the Finance Committee folder. So City Market Lofts is in there for you all to take a look at. Also, the Lynchburg Food Cooperative, you know that they put the remaining inventory well, they really just moved it from the location into the city's space under the armory. We told the city that we would only leave it there for 6 months. Obviously, we've had a pandemic and it's been a lot longer than 6 months. We've had repeated conversations with Byron. He has tried to market this remaining equipment and believes that we would only collect, you know, pennies on the dollar. I think that, Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the value that he listed the equipment was around $18,000. So we are going to try, you know, once again to ourselves to intercede and market what's left there in equipment. What we don't want to do is have to move the equipment yet again. And I would like this, the inventory part of this chapter closed, because I don't have, you know, staff to have these outlying, you know, things on the books that need to be taken care of. So I just wanted to update you all on that. And like I said, we will be working to perhaps, you know, advertise and then bring people to the space to look at what, you know, the equipment that's there, and get an offer on that equipment. Okay, and let's see. Also, we just had, I think yesterday, or maybe the day before, Anna has an update on the Shoeless Wonders project.
Yes, so the Shoeless one, we heard from Sarah Elizabeth this week, it was yesterday. And she has an announcement to make this week about distribution of the film. A distribution company has picked up the film, and there are new details about when it's going to happen. So I think that's the good news. She has an investor call that she on Friday morning, and we will share that. It'll be a Zoom call. So if any of you are interested, I don't have the link yet, but if any of you all are interested in participating with us on that to hear the update on the investor call, we'll send you that link for Friday morning to join us. So not a lot of news yet, but I'm hoping that Friday morning we'll have some clarity on exactly what is happening and when everything is going to move forward. So it's good news. Certainly things have been in a holding pattern for a little while, but I know Sarah Elizabeth had not given up on working on it, and it sounds like things are ready to move forward again.
Thanks, Anna. That's really awesome. I think that's awesome to hear, because we had our fingers crossed that the pandemic wouldn't decimate any of something like the Shoeless Wonders out there. So that is great news. You all can read the rest of the staff report. Obviously, everybody here has been working here and there and wherever they're sitting. has been working nonstop. We really don't know. We don't really, especially with rising cases, know when City Hall is going to open back up again. We're working to move the visitor center to the museum, but there's no date on when that will reopen either. We're working on the blueprint reset, as the annual report says. When all of this occurred, I worked with Stephen to reach out to the business community, and that was a 75 businesses that signed on to help us with how we might reimagine things over the next couple of years and what the world was going to look like. So we are in really good shape to have that summary go out, and then that summary, would be followed up with this, brand identity kind of project. So we will pull in, the business community to sit in on, as well as city staff to sit in on how that moves forward. So lots of things that we are excited about going into the new year, even with all the unknowns.
I have a question. Margette, or Anna, where is a copy of the video that was just shown available to us so that we can forward it to our friends and family?
Got it in the newsletter.
Yes, it's in our newsletter. We sent it out, but also it's on our website. So if you go to opportunitylynchburg.com, I think it's /year in review is the page that Bill.
And I would that's the reason,
that
Anna, that we brought this to your attention, is because you all get all of this information. And if you're not getting, we can see on the other end if you've opened it or you haven't opened it. And so we just wanted to make sure that you know that it's out there. I think it's a really, it's one of the best pieces we've ever done. And to make sure that you all know that. So moving forward, when we do a newsletter, that newsletter, everything that we do comes to you all. Might go in your junk email, or I know how weird all that is, especially now. But we're going to try to make sure that we not only send you all of these things, but that and I hope you forward them, because that's kind of your job on the EDA, is to be ambassadors for the work that's done here. But also, we're going to try to do a better job of making sure that anything that we have going out there, we reiterate that in the EDA meeting, because we know people have a lot of things coming at them, and we want to make sure that we can differentiate. Plus, like Anna says, we want your feedback, because if you don't think it's, relevant information, or there could be some other information that you think would be more meaningful, we want to make sure we get that in there, because we're really basing everything we do on not insularly, even though you all are on the board, you're also from the business community and the outside. And that's what makes the EDA such a great group, is because they are advocating from the outside in. And so we want to make sure that you all have all of this information and can give us feedback on that.
Anyone have any other questions for Margette or Anna? As you can see, there are no items for closed session, and there will be no committee meeting following this meeting. We want to remind everyone that the next meeting will be January 21st of 2021.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So if you can mark that on your calendars. Guys, it's been a different year, but everybody stay up till midnight on December 31, just to make sure that we do go into a new year. Is there any questions, concerns, Any other items that need to be brought before the committee this morning, the board? Hearing none, this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great holiday, everyone.
Thanks, Mark.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.